I'm Mick Danzig.
And I'm Hannah Hampton, and you're listening to HR After Hours.
Well, hello and welcome to HR After Hours podcast, the only HR podcast that shows up whenever it feels like it, you know, kind of like the boss's son. Sometimes we do an episode every week, sometimes once a month, you never know. Hannah, I miss you.
Oh, man.
Awesome to be on here with you today.
It is.
How is my sister from another mister?
I'm sorry to our listeners. Things happen. People go places. Life happens. I'm doing good. How are you?
You know, I am Farmer Mick. I'm outstanding in my field, definitely ready to own the end of the summer. So it was funny is, as our listeners know, we don't prepare all the time. And most of the time, we don't even know what we're going to talk about until minutes, moments, seconds before we decide to record.
And sometimes we talk before we record for like 30 minutes about nothing that we'd even consider bringing up on this podcast. So it's truly flying by the seats of our pants.
We were looking for something kind of easy. We were going to soft pitch it today. And then we found an article that we haven't, we're probably going to learn as we're going here. So if our thought processes are a little scattered or whatever, or if we even shift midstream, that's because honestly, I'm going into this with a very organic approach. I have a couple of ideas how I feel about this article, but Hannah, you may change my mind. I may change yours. Let's see what happens. Hot off the presses, CVS is in a little hot water that's in HR Digest. We've seen it in a couple other places. CVS's use of an AI quote unquote lie detector during the interviewing process has landed the company in hot water after a candidate sued them for using the AI tool without providing the option to opt out. The plaintiff took CVS Health Corporation and CVS Pharmacy Inc. to court after he was not provided the option to refuse the use of the higher view video interview technology. Activia's artificial intelligence, Factivia. Activia is like a yogurt for old people.
So you can take a shit. And this is...
Yeah. So this is an AI lie detector test. Basically, it's an artificial intelligence analysis program. Say that 3 times real fast. Basically, it's AI looking at the video of your interview. All bullshit is how I'm reading.
Well, first of all, before we get into the meat and potatoes, I found another article and it says that they've reached a tentative settlement in a proposed class action lawsuit. Does this mean that, they realized that they were doing it, or they did it and now realize it was bad, but there is a tentative settlement from CVS with regards to making job applicants take a lie detector test during the interview process without notice. And that's the part that I really have a big problem with, is did this without notice and people were not able to opt out of this Activia's, again, and now I want to call it Activia, but Activia's artificial intelligence. They were not given a chance to challenge the assessment. So I know I personally have some problems with that. We live in a day and age of technology, which of course is great for many things. But let's get real. AI is, while it's not necessarily new, it is new in the use of hiring. It's new in the use of, HR technology. Giving people the opportunity to opt out is super important. But the other side of it, there needs to be some sort of an interactive process aligned with background checks, aligned with everything else that we do the interactive process with, in order to make sure that it's fair and balanced. And it sounds like that was not also something that was available to the person to be able to challenge what the assessment said. So, I mean, that's my 30,000 feet view of it. Mick, what are your thoughts of it? What are your thoughts of what I just said?
There's 2 different lanes of discussion here. So first off, if they are using it as a quote unquote lie detector, I don't believe there's any technology that is 100% accurate. Let's do it this way. If we were to compare this process to an assessment, okay?
Mhm.
And it's, we've used assessments for decades. The assessment is basically a tool to differentiate people that are good at getting the job from people that are good at doing the job, right? Because there
Mhm.
are some amazing interviewers out there that are completely full of shit. So that's what an assessment's for, is two pieces. A, that differentiating those two qualities. And the other one is you identify qualities that you're looking for that you think are a great cultural fit, or qualities of other people that have performed the same job successfully have, that they possess these
Mhm.
qualities. So that's an assessment from just the legal mumbo jumbo. And again, Hannah and I are not lawyers, did not attend law school. There is some jargon here. He's saying, if they're using this as a lie detector, I definitely should be able to opt out. This is something that I did not agree to do. And there you go. I think
Yeah.
that that's the end of the story on that plane. On the other thing is, this is where I go when it comes down to jargon. They're saying, well, higher view platform, it's not really a lie detector test. It's just to figure if this person is a good cultural fit, and it creates an employability score.
Yeah, so that's what
So
I wanted to make sure we brought up was it's basically what they're saying. And I think this kind of creeps me out. To track facial expressions such as smiles, surprise, contempt, disgust, and smirks, and creates an employability score. And it said that part of that employability score included analysis of the candidate's conscientiousness and responsibility and the candidate's innate sense of integrity and honor, all from facial expressions, which to me, again, my HR hat is on, my HR spidey sense is going off. I'm like, what if this is an individual who has some sort of a health condition where maybe they've got some facial tics, or maybe there's other things, Bell's palsy. I think about any kind of medical condition that can cause your face to do things without you causing that. So again, I feel like this is where you need to have some sort of interactive process. Now, granted, I need to research the technology to understand it a little bit more and why this would be a useful part of the hiring process. But to me, I'm like, ooh, my HR spidey sense is going off, going, I feel like that there's a lot more I'd need to understand about the candidate, about the situation in order to really put any stock into the results.
I wholeheartedly agree. And again, I'm probably going to use this analogy to death on this topic, but just like some assessments have been found to be culturally biased, when you realize the person taking the assessment, English is their second language, there should be a
Mm-hmm.
sliding scale and adapter to that. If this person's not even getting an opportunity to discuss the software and how it works and what this part of the interview is going to be, they are not given an opportunity to identify anything that they have, any sort of facial tick, like you said. They could be on the spectrum that would impact the score of this. Again, how are you using it? Is it a pass fail? Is this only going to be used to support or disqualify any of your initial concerns with the candidate? The weight of the assessment or process should be a huge factor. From the legal standpoint, I think the case proves itself. They settled because, yeah, you put the guy through something, he didn't know what you were doing. I initially thought it was like, okay, your next stage in our interviewing process is you're going to take this AI interview, and so and
Mm-hmm.
if you have any questions, and so but no, they're just asking questions that are being videotaped, and then they download it into the program. I definitely have a major concern with that. I don't want you to own any video of me talking at all in this day
Sure.
and age of technology. I mean,
Oh,
I
for
know that
sure.
sounds kind of matrix or whatever, but no, thank you. So no. And if I'm in a video interview, you've got to tell me if you're recording it. And I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm.
why? Why do you need video of me? Ultimately, if you really want the job, and that's the final stage, and they say, I want to videotape our interview, I'd say probably 85% of the people would say, sure, but 15%, that's
Mhm.
15% you should respect. And this is the only part of it that you and I really discussed before the call because I was kind of wrapping my head around it. From a candidate standpoint, if you were to explain this out as part of the process to me, that's a red flag for a potential employer. I'm going to pass. I don't want to work for this company.
I agree.
Uh,
There's sometimes things that companies do in the hiring process where it does. To me, it's a red flag. You need to ask yourself, why are you doing the things you do in the hiring process? Have a deep understanding of what you're getting out of it because in this day and age, I feel like with social media, people are talking and people are not afraid to throw up those red flags and be like, why is your company doing this? And a lot of times people fall into, well, this is how we've always done it. That is not a good excuse or good reason to continue doing some of those things you do. So my takeaway from this is, hey people, hey companies, let's take a step back and make sure that on a regular basis, it could be annually, it could be every 2 years, 3 years, look at your hiring practices, look at the processes. Is that still aligned with who we are as a company? Is it still aligned with where we are in the world today? And is this the right thing to do? So that's what I would be doing.
so I'm the HR director. You tell me about this amazing new technology that's going to identify people that aren't being truthful during the interviewing process. Your initial reaction is like, oh, wow, let's give it a shot. Let's check it out. But then the opposite side of that, the counterbalance should be, we've got to let the candidates know we're trying something new here. We're not really putting any weight on it. You're one of the first people to participate in this. Are you comfortable with that? I think when you're trying new technology, I think you should be very vigilant and be
Mhm.
hyper aware of the fact that it's new technology,
Okay.
right? I
So I'm
mean,
glad that you said that. I'm glad because I want to read you the rest of this HR Dive article because it's so aligned with that. It says AI based assessment tools are facing increased scrutiny in 2024. And again, this is coming from the HR Dive article. For instance, a job applicant alleged that Workday's AI screening software tool is biased and discriminatory. Although the company filed a motion to dismiss the case, a federal district court judge said the lawsuit can move forward because Workday's tools are engaged in conduct that is at the heart of equal access to employment opportunities. In addition, the American Civil Liberties Union has asked the Federal Trade Commission to review Aon's AI employment assessment tools, claiming they have a built in bias against people with autism or mental health disabilities and discriminate based on race. Aon told Legal Dive, a sister publication to HR Dive, that the tools meet industry best practices. The ACLU has also filed a complaint with the EEOC. So certainly what's really great is people are kind of being a watchdog. Like, let's make sure that we're doing the right things. Technology does have built-in bias or can have built-in bias, back in the day with the Apple, the iPhones and recognizing faces and darker skin tones, struggling with that, maybe with the camera or maybe with the scanning. So you think about it, people with autism, people with mental health disabilities, or maybe they're not going to make those facial features that say, hey, I'm highly employable, but hey, this person kicks ass at the work they're doing. It's like, feels like it's based on looks versus anything else. I am happy companies are being challenged legally and we're pushing back on some of this new technology because I feel like at the end of the day, technology cannot be 100% replacement for a very strong recruiting process. And I'll step off of my soapbox.
I think you hit so many key points there. There absolutely is some validation to various cries of racial bias deep rooted in AI technology, not only in generative AI, where it's not identifying multiple races, but even some of the campus AI facial recognition technology having issues with different races. There's a gender bias that's come to light. It's cutting edge technology. There are a lot of improvements that need to be made. So you should take any scores that involve such new technology with some scrutiny. You've got to put weight into it. And again, just like an assessment, if you're good at what you do, whether it's recruiting or HR practices in general, you know that you've got to look at all the variables and designate
Mhm.
the weight on those variables when making decisions, whether it's hiring decisions, employment decisions, actions, etc. That's where CVS has a huge responsibility, is to designate a weight on this and make it should be very minimal. It should only be, okay, this goes with one concern I had. This reinforces
Mhm.
something. It shouldn't be like, well, Jim was awesome, but he tanked it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call this the Activia software, just because
I
I
like
do
it.
feel like it's generating a lot of bullshit. There should definitely not be a case where, wow, this guy was great, but he tanked the Activia assessment, so we can't hire him.
Agreed.
That's flawed, because if this is AI, what is AI all about? AI learns as it goes. So it's
Mhm.
going to learn and improve the more it's utilized, which means the first applicants to be part of this process, they're going to have a different experience than someone that does it 6 months from now, or a different score of results.
Mhm. And you know what? Hey, CVS, take notes. I know y'all have those really long receipts. Just grab one receipt and write it on there and really take some time to assess your recruiting processes. But something tells me if they've settled, it's probably them taking ownership. Like, hey, we screwed up here. We shit the bed.
But
Too
does it?
much Activia.
But does it? One of our most recent episodes where we talked about corporate conspiracy theories is
True.
the willing to spend money and lose lawsuits to be, in the cutting edge of technology or improve sales. I'm sure there was some bean counter at CVS that said, I'm going to sign off on this, but I've already allocated $250,000 for the first class action lawsuit. That's what we're willing to settle when someone says this is bullshit. I mentioned red flags about companies. I'm not going to give CVS our McDonald's treatment, but I will say I have interacted with quite a few people that have had various careers with CVS. None of them walked away saying, man, I really enjoyed working for that company. I would say they're probably right between Family Dollar and McDonald's as far
Oh,
as their reputation of being an employer of choice. And that's just my opinion, CVS. So don't try to recoup your settlement dollars suing me. I think these are the type of practices, and the way they're executed are the differences in company cultures, showing a non-collaborative environment, not giving you a heads up that your video is going to be ran through some software. And what happens to that video of me afterwards? Where is it? It's out in the AI
right.
universe, right? I don't download pictures of myself when I'm playing with AI. No, I don't want it out there.
No, heck no. Now, if I can give some snaps to CVS for one thing, they do have a location somewhere in Los Angeles. I think it's in Venice. Their CVS has this art installation, and it's the ballerina clown. So it's creepy and it's amazing. So I will give them props for at least they have fun taste in artwork.
Hannah's willing to give you an opportunity here. I would call out and say, okay, CVS, thank you for your artwork. Now show us what you're going to do with this learning experience, with this AI, improve the execution of it, find good for it versus evil, lead the way in
Yeah.
telling us what went wrong here, keep other companies from making the same early mistakes, and create a collaborative environment where you can figure out how to best utilize this technology in positive ways.
Listen to your recruiting professionals because, they have been refining the practice.
Or take one more step closer to not being an employer of choice and not getting to know your people by depending on data to give you the opinion that you form on this person, which I look fantastic on paper, Hannah. It's when you meet me and get to know me that you realize, what a dick.
Don't
Oh, I
sell
was
yourself short.
Oh, I
You're
was
pretty
fishing
awesome.
for that. Thank you.
You're
Thank
pre
you very
Hey,
much.
I think you're fantastic, and I'm grateful. And, not that our listeners know this, but we are getting close to the 10-year anniversary of when we, first worked together. So that's exciting.
I love it. I love it. And so ultimately, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been working on doing exactly the opposite of what CVS is doing here by using artificial intelligence, Activia analysis programs, and lie detectors. Because what do we want to do?
We want to put the human back into human resources.
Love ya. Talk to you later.
Bye.